This is Deborah Cohen, and I would like to share my new song that comes out today, March 13th, Friday the 13th. It's called Neuro-Spicy. I'm playing with my focus here on my camera. Neuro-Spicy by Deborah Cohen, Debra Cohen, Cohen. Maybe some of you have dealt with abrasive people in your lives. I think we all do. And the unfortunate news is, I'm here to tell you as a senior citizen, they don't go away when you get to be an old lady. As a matter of fact, it's very strange to experience as a 70-year-old experience bullying from 30-year-olds that compete with me, or I don't know what the reason is. I can't understand it. But, you know, when I used to be a school teacher, I was always very impressed with the Asian culture because I taught English as a second language. The kids, I call them kids, they were teenagers in high school. The Asians were so well behaved, uh, respectful. It's built into their culture. And me broadcasting from America, teaching in American public schools, I'm not saying the kids are all like that, because there are parents out there that do discipline their children. But, it used to be when I was a child in the 60s, it was legal to give kids a spanking. As a matter of fact, I remember going to Freedman School in Marlborough, Massachusetts, and our principal, Miss Rowe, uh, she had a paddle, like they used to have these paddles that had a elastic string and a ball that you could play. I don't know if they still make those at Toys R Us today, but she took the string off of it and used the paddle to give us a whooping. And this was in public school in the 60s. So we knew Miss Rowe. We didn't want to make her upset with us little kids, because if you were called into the office and when you went, the door closed, everybody in the school know what was happening next. Spank, bend over, bend over, smack, smack, smack. And, you learn to behave. If you didn't, you got paddled. Well, teachers can't do that anymore. Principals can't do that in America because it's illegal to discipline children that way. Now what has become popular is timeouts. Instead of hitting, like the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, it doesn't mean beat them like, my mother used to do, break off the nearest tree branch and whoop them that way. Although, everything in moderation, I think, is okay, right? But that was a little bit barbaric, I would say. But, giving the kid a little sting on the butt, you can't do that anymore. Mothers get thrown in jail for disciplining their kids. There's something about spankings that are effective. I don't know if that's what they do in Japan and China and all those. Maybe they don't have to go to that extreme because the kids have been taught somehow to love their parents. And it's sadly missing from this culture in America for the most part. So anyway, it creates an atmosphere of entitlement for the younger kids. And it's come to the point now in 2026 where I have adult children that bully me with their verbiage, their mannerisms, their gossip, their hyperboles, because I'm different. I've always been different. And I could go into a big spiel about, Mrs. Blackney in high school, the librarian. I used to make my own clothes. I came from a, I don't want to say poor background, but my mother did the best she could. So I ended up making a lot of my own clothes, and I got a hold of some fabric at Weintraub's, was a leopard print. So I made myself, as a teenager, ninth grade, a leopard skirt, and I got a hold of some black satin fabric and made a blouse with leopard trim and leopard cuffs with a leopard skirt, pencil skirt, and painted my fingernails black. This was in like 1970. Well, I went to the librarian for whatever reason, and she took a gasp when she saw my outfit and my fingernails, like, what is this? I mean, she didn't try to hide it. She was mocking me in front of my classmates and making negative, snide remarks about my attire. Like, get a life, will you? I mean, not everybody has to be like you. That's called a clique. There are cliques today. There are gangs today. Gangs, a lot of these kids are looking for family because their parents are absentee for whatever reason. So they seek out gangs. I'm not saying that's right, but it's a condition or a symptom of a lack of discipline in our culture amongst the youth. And again, I'm not stereotyping. I'm not saying all kids, but the ones I've encountered definitely are different from the ones in Asian cultures. So today we have a term that was not known when I was growing up. It's called neurodivergence. Kids that are wired differently, like some symptoms or kids you might know are ADHD kids or autistic kids or dyslexic kids like me when I tried to be a piano teacher to salvage my career after leaving rock and roll. And don't forget to get my book. It's the perfect time to put a plug in, right? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I used to be in a rock band, and I wanted to be, the drug part is I almost died from an overdose, but all of a sudden God decided I was worth salvaging. So I promised him in exchange that I would live for him if he let me live. And that's why I'm on this spiritual path for life, because I promised God I would serve him. Hineni. And here I am talking about God again. All right. So I had to find a career to work because I have a good work ethic. And this is after my overdose. So I'm like, what can I do at my age? I was told in Nashville in the 90s when I tried to get signed, I was told by an A&R guy that he liked my music, but he wanted to pitch it to somebody else because I was too old to get signed. That just crushed me. So I had to find something else to do with my life. I thought, okay, I'll be a music teacher. And one of the requirements to be a music teacher is to be able to play piano. So I'd do my homework diligently, go home, practice, get in front of Miss Archer, the teacher, and all of a sudden my left hand starts playing the treble clef. I'm like, she said, did you do your homework? I'm like, before she realized what was happening. I'm like, yes, I promised you I did. I don't know why this is happening. I get nervous and all of a sudden I have this wiring issue. Well, come to find out, dyslexia, ta-da, neurodivergent. But the term hadn't been discovered back then. And that was in, 1999, maybe, the time I went to Israel. So I had to find something else to do. And that's when I became an ESOL teacher. I'm like, oh my God, that was a mistake. Anyway, it's in the book. And so what I'm trying to say is all of this, I didn't mean to go on a tangent here, but I've got a new song coming out today. It's released. It's called Neuro-Spicy. Neuro-Spicy. I am a neurodivergent soul. There is not one set of symptoms for a neurodivergent person. It means, in simplistic forms, wired differently. So we become targets for bullies, even as senior citizens, because you're different. And even, I need to get my own t-shirt. You be you, me be me. People don't seem to understand that it's okay to be different. Oh, I could feel, why are you wearing glasses like that? Why is your hair like that? Why do you wear lipstick? I'm like, get a life. What do you care what I'm doing? Just find somebody else to be like you. I'm not going to be like you. Don't you know that God made each one of us with our own gifts? We're each valued in the sight of God. It's up to each one of us to find out what our giftings are. I don't think school does a very good job helping kids to discover who they're meant to be. They want everybody to be the same way. They study the same classes, and then they go off into their specialty. But I still don't see the value of X plus Y equals C. And I remember Mr. McLaughlin in high school, he asked me, I'm like, I think by this time I must have been a sophomore. And I must have had the face on. Like, I don't care what you're saying. This is like so freaking boring. But you still had a fear of teachers back then in the 70s, in 1970 maybe. Miss so-and-so, he's talking to me, because I was like in the zone thinking about the Beatles during algebra class. Miss so-and-so, what does X plus Y equal? And I said, I don't care. He said, what? I said, I don't care. Oh, he gave me the finger, not the one we give today, that one, the index finger. Go sit out in the hallway. I'm like, oh, okay, gladly. I hate your class anyway. But unfortunately, you have to know algebra to get a degree. And oh, man, was that a struggle for me. But anyway, that has nothing to do with my song coming out today, but I just feel like talking, Okay. So I'm going to, in closing, share the lyrics with you for those neurodivergent souls out there, or those people that are being bullied by the uppity ups or whatever. This, we really, as a nation, need to work on disciplining our kids in good ways. I'm not saying get out. Well, they used to call it a lick and stick. My Nana, get out the lick and stick. Oh, so anyway, good memories. No, not good memories of being beaten, but good memories of childhood. Hopefully you have good memories. All right, so these are words that I wrote recently. This song is coming out today, Neurodivergent. Actually, it's not called it's about a neurodivergent person. It's called Neuro-Spicy. I wrote this to process bullying from these people that are in my congregation that give me these verbal jabs with a smile. Those kind of people? It sounds like it could be a nice comment, but it's really, it's not. Like, here's an example of what I'm talking about. This really was said to me. I thought you had more ingenuity than that. Oh, does that sound like a compliment or anything other than a dig? And, there are those that become your friends and then they think they have the right to give you those kind of digs. That's something that's happening to me lately too. Oh, there's a comment about, I thought you were a canter when I make a mistake. Seriously? Why would you say that? Are you thinking like I'm exempt from mistakes just because I expect excellence? Then you think if I make a mistake, there's something wrong with me? Like I'm supposed to be perfect just because I expect excellence? What about that scripture that says, do everything as unto God? Not this person that picks on me and says, it doesn't matter if we know Hebrew anyway, because everybody makes mistakes at the Bema. Okay, enough said. I think you get my point. So, with all of my heart, I write this to process this experience of being bullied in a congregation, and I share it with you because maybe you can relate. Sometimes it helps to know you're not the only one going through this. I walk in all sincerity. You call out my name. You take my words and spin the tale. To you, it's just a game. I see your face, your lips that smile, but in your eyes, deceit. I walk with my heart on my sleeve with a message of love. Still, I bleed when my kindness is twisted, and I've had enough. I've had enough. I open doors with trembling hands, just hoping to belong, but whispers cut like sharpened glass when I don't fit your song. You call me strange, you call me soft, as if there's something wrong. I walk with my heart in my sleeve with a message of love. Still, I bleed when my kindness is twisted, and I've had enough. I've had enough. I learned too young to guard my soul, but still I choose the light. I wear my truth without a shield, even when it starts a fight. If loving deeply is my greatest sin, I'll stand here naked and exposed. I walk with my heart on my sleeve with a message of love. Still I bleed when my kindness is twisted, and I've had enough. I've had enough. I won't trade mercy for a crown or vengeance for relief, for my God is my song in the wilderness, my strength, my belief. I walk with my heart on my sleeve with a message of love. Though I bleed when my kindness is doubted, I rise above. And that's my song, Neuro-Spicy by Deborah Cohen. I hope you will get it and share it and talk about why it's wrong to bully people and to make this world, Tikkun Olam, a better place. It's time for us to start behaving and respecting and accepting people for who they are instead of making somebody else try to be like you. Check out my podcast, Tai Chi Kindness, airs every Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. The channel handle is at Energy Life Wave. Check out my music, DeborahCohenMusic.com, and my books, DeborahCohenBooks.org. And also check out my merch because, yes, I'm an artist who makes merch. You can find it on Redbubble or Amazon. Just search for Deborah Cohen Music. And don't forget to spell Deborah right, Debra. Thank you for listening, and I wish you peace, salam, and shalom.